everybody. Welcome to the Early Edge, and thank you for your patience. You guys are amazing in the chat. Amazing. Sometimes we have technical difficulties. It happens, but we are here live, as we always are. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all sports betting, and it's not close. All the odds here on the Early Edge are provided by the king of all sports books. Of course, I'm talking about BetMGM. Now, last night was a perfect night to illustrate what we talk about all the time. Hashtag it pays to watch live. Now, the picks, we won basically the same as we lost, but if you watch the show live and you watched AB and you watch Coach Phil, what do we talk about? Covering on the outsides, right? Well, look at Quentin Johnston. We cashed his play under 3.5. First play of the game. They went to him. Deep right. No fly zone. Sauce Gardner is there. That's why you watch. Use the information. It's not just about the hardcore picks all the time. Now, our weeks never stop. Later today, it's our Week 10. Can you believe it? Week 10 NFL Mega Preview. Me, the Stoic one. The Maestro, Larry Hartstein. 4 p.m. Eastern. We break down every single game for Week 10. So with all that being said, they're like rabid dogs waiting to be let out. Let's bring in the stars of the show. You know them. You love them. And if you haven't said, well done, AB, please put that in the chat for me while you're hitting the like button, because we wouldn't be on the air right now without our 5-tool player. But look who's here. Zack Attack live from Las Vegas. My man, the counselor, is here. And Buckets is here on a Champions League Paramount Plus Tuesday. What do we say, Buckets?
Synergy.
What you were going to say. You didn't even know what you were going to. You're like, I think it's
I was going to say day baseball at first, but I remembered baseball's over, I think, maybe. So who knows?
It is over. Yes, it is over. Real quickly, I talk about watching the show live. So today, our 15 seconds is going to go to one of the men who was on the show last night. And, Counselor, we talked about a lot of things that ended up happening in the game.
Yeah, we did. And that's what we've been doing lately a lot on the NFL Kickoff Show. If you remember, we were on the Ravens first half because of some of the discussion that we had. And that's thanks to the chat a little bit too. So just understand that a lot of these official picks, of course, are going to be out there. That's most of our picks, probably 90% of our picks. But 10% of those are going to be organic during the show. We've done that a couple of different times. I know I've done that a couple of different times where I didn't have the presence of mind maybe to have a pick before the show, but talking through it organically, whether it's with the chat or with you, Coach, or any of the other analysts, all of a sudden we're like, hey, this is a really good play. And we usually hit those, the ones that come up organically. So again, it pays to watch live. If you actually go to that hashtag on Twitter, you'll see a bunch of picks that we've made just over the last couple of weeks, because I drop that hashtag a lot, and usually the community joins and we get a nice win out of it.
We're doing it together. It's what we're all about. It's what we're based on. We built this brand on. Thank you, Counselor, very much. Now, as many of you in the chat have already alluded to, there is no NBA today. Kind of a scheduling quirk. I don't know why, but guess what? College basketball has started. So we thought it'd be fun today in our marquee matchup segment to have a little fun talking about the future. So, Zack Attack, we're going to start with you. Here are the odds to win the national championship. This according to BetMGM. Kansas and Duke right there at the top. So, I ask you this question, Zack. Do we fade or follow Kansas to win the national championship?
Kansas, I don't want to fade them just yet. I want to see them a little bit more. My favorite time to pick a future is going to be right before conference play, that December period. But this point in the year, I think my team that I would go with would be Purdue at 14-1. They have that stability with Matt Painter, their coach since 2005. Zach Edey, been there forever, a dominant big man, and they have that chip on their shoulder, which is also that X factor for me. You don't see that in college basketball these days with the NIL, the transfer portal. They have that chip on their shoulder because they built that team up over the years, and they've struggled 3 straight years losing to double-digit seeds. So they're a rare team to start the season that has that camaraderie from the coach to Zach Edey on the court that I like right now at 14-1.
I can't believe Zach came back. Were you surprised that he came back this year? I was.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised, but you're seeing that with the big men. They don't have that NBA draft stock value, kind of like Drew Timme all those years with Gonzaga.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's a great point. The man's 7'2", 7'3". He's going to get paid, probably be the number 1 pick. Who knows? All right, Counselor, I'm coming to you. We have a 14-1 pick from Zach. What say you?
Yeah, speaking of Zach Edey, I mean, talk about a man among boys. If you watch him this year, especially maybe against some of the teams that have play freshmen a lot, I mean, Zach Edey is 21 years old. I mean, he's just a monster. It's going to be very interesting to watch him. But I'm going down the board a little bit I'm going to go to Houston. I think Houston enters the Big 12. It's an athletic team that plays defense under Sampson, and they got LJ Cryer in the transfer portal. So this is a team that I think they're going to have their ups and downs in Big 12 conference play. But at 22-1, it's the type of team, the type of athletes, the type of defense that if they get hot with the shooting, they could do some serious damage. So I think 22-1 is a pretty generous number. Going down the board a bit, I'd probably say the same about Alabama at 35-1. I think that one's interesting, but Houston's my pick here at 22-1 this early in the season.
And we will, of course, monitor it. Zack brings up a great point throughout the season, January, February. We'll revisit this and see what the better pick is and see where we were at the beginning of the year. It's kind of fun game to play, but also to get value and see what teams are playing really good basketball. Now, we know Buckus has his own segment on Tuesdays, but before we get there, we got to pay all of these salaries. Here's a word from one of our incredible partners.
We need the sports news anywhere.
We've got breaking news to bring you.
Then get your sports anytime you want them. Big trade news overnight to discuss.
Because we know you need sports all the time.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
A legend adds to their legacy.
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
CBS Sports HQ, anywhere, anytime, all the time.
Anywhere, all the time. Damn right. Now, buckets, a big day on the pitch today. There is no bigger competition outside of the World Cup than Champions League. And we have every single game on Paramount Plus. So here are the matchups today. We're going to play Pick the Prop with our favorite bet. Both teams to score. Of these games, where are we going?
There's a lot of different places we can go here, Coach, because now that we are in match day 4, we're on that match day to where some teams, it is do or die time. If teams lose today, they could be completely out of the qualifying rounds of the Champions League. So we have some teams such as Crvena Zvezda Beograd, such as AC Milan, such as Lazio, teams that really need to produce results or they're in a bit of trouble today. Also, because this is the best of the best of the best, a lot of the BTTS, our favorite bet odds, are very, very juiced here. For instance, Dortmund versus Newcastle, BTTS is minus 165. Red Star versus Leipzig, minus 160. So it could be a little tough to find value. However, my absolute favorite out of this entire board is that matchup between Atletico Madrid and Celtic FC. It is minus 105 over on MGM. And Atletico Madrid needs to win after that draw to Celtic. They just played last week and it ended 2-2. And now it's kind of do or die for both of these clubs. I don't really see either team playing defensive here. Minus 105 seems like a great shout for that match.
I saw a stat on that particular game when I was doing my own next level soccer capping, and I believe it was the last 4 home games Atletico has won, but they've yet to keep a clean sheet, is what we call it in the business. Is that correct?
That's some next level soccer capping from you, Coach. You were absolutely correct there.
It's kind of what I do. Now, where are we going to make these bets? Where can you play both teams to score in the Champions League? Well, I can tell you right now, BetMGM. Now, new BetMGM customers can sign up today and get $200 in bonus bets. Just place your first wager of at least $10, and you'll receive $200 instantly in bonus bets, regardless of your wager's outcome, with bonus code EDGE200. That's bonus code EDGE200. Now, Maction. Not everybody on the crew knows what it is, and that's fine. But the most important ones do. And seeing Nejad, I'm going to have you start us off because you're a very, very busy man, and you've got other places to be here at CBS, of course. So I'm looking at one play. There are 3 games tonight on a Tuesday, which we love. Where are you going?
Yeah, we've done pretty well with these Maction games, Conference USA games over the last few weeks. I mean, I'm so happy that we get college football on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And today on Tuesday, I'm going Central Michigan +3 over Western Michigan. I'll keep this analysis relatively short. First of all, Central Michigan, if they win this game, they're bowl eligible. That's pretty important because their next 2 games are going to be really tough. I think this is kind of their Super Bowl for a couple of reasons. One, they'll become bowl eligible, but 2, it's crosstown rival, a couple hours away, Western Michigan. So this is a very big game. I don't usually take a ride down Narrative Street, but in this particular case, I do think it matters from a bowl standpoint. But it's the running game that I'm really focused on with Central Michigan. Jace Bauer, Marion Lukes, these guys are really running it well. Jace Bauer, of course, is the quarterback for Central Michigan. He ran for over 100 yards last week. Marion Lukes is running really well over the last couple of games. And I just don't think it's a running attack where you have that dual threat quarterback, which if you've been following me, you know in college football, I really like to lean on those guys. I don't think it's going to be stopped by Western Michigan. Now, on the other side, Western Michigan can run the ball too, and they will score on Central Michigan. No question about it. But at the end of the day, going over 4 quarters, I think it's the Central Michigan rushing attack that's better than the Western Michigan rushing attack. I'm not super worried about the Western Michigan quarterback moving the ball down the field, even though the Central Michigan defense is pretty bad. At the end of the day, I'm leaning on the running game. Give me the points. This should probably be a pick 'em in my opinion. Give me the points on Central Michigan +3.
If anybody watched Central Michigan last week, then you know why this is the good pick. They scored 37 against a pretty good Northern Illinois team, which we're going to have coming up in the show very shortly. I love this pick. And getting points, next level, counselor, next level. Now, while the counselor has to leave, I bid you adieu, my good sir. Good luck on your other show. We can tell you that we have 2 more plays from SportsLine today. One of them is Maction. That's right. Here's where we're going to go. Ohio. -7. Kenny White has that pick on SportsLine. The man is an absolute beast. Buffalo, they just don't have this year what they've had in years past. They're giving up a ton of points. Ohio, playing really good football. We're going to lay the touchdown on the road. The atmosphere won't be intimidating whatsoever. There will be no home field advantage there. Then let's go to the NHL. And I saw somebody in the chat said, hey, Coach, when's the new NHL capper starting? Well, there's an onboarding process, so it usually takes a couple of weeks. But as soon as he starts, I promise you, we will feature his picks on the show. Then you can turn on those notifications and get them every single day. All right, we're going to go Detroit Rangers under 6.5. That's courtesy of our man, Matty Severance. Now, if you are not a SportsLine member, I ask you this question very seriously. What are you doing? I'm going to do you a solid right here, right now. Use the promo code COACH, and I'll give you 60% off a quarterly plan. That's 3 months. There is a QR code, or go to sportsline.com/join and be a part of the fastest growing sports betting community in the world. Be a part of something. Join us. After that, it's all of $10 a month. That's it. Now, many of you are asking for more soccer. Many of you are asking for more football. Well, guess what? I still have 2 rock stars ready to go, but not before we pay one more little bill with one of our incredible partners.
Wake up to football highlights and news from around the world with the one and only Morning Footy team.
Rise and shine, football fans. Welcome to Morning Footy.
Start your all-day football craze with Morning Footy, part of the all-new Golazo Network.
I need you guys to do me a favor because we're a crew for a reason. And sometimes you need a little pick-me-up. Can you all write into the chat, please? We got you, Snake. Just write, we got you, Snake. No issues whatsoever. None. You start late once in 3 years. I saw somebody write that too. Don't even worry about it. We got you, Snake. Always. Now, Zack Attack. We just played Central Michigan +3. The other game I will get to at SportsLine, but I'm looking you right between the eyes, and I love where you're going with your second Maction pick today. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to lay it here with Northern Illinois -9.5 against Ball State. You examine their season. They have only 1 win beyond 10 points this year. And as C alluded to, we've seen conference these early week games go from Conference USA to the Maction last week. And I know Northern Illinois at a -6 favorite against Central Michigan last week laid an egg. But I think this week, after having that experience last week, they are going to be ready to play. This game is of significant magnitude. And they actually got down against Central Michigan 37-11, but made it a game late, actually had a chance to drive with football and win the game with 1.5 minutes to go. Didn't work out for them, but they are 4-5 now with 3 games left. So they need to win 2 more games to become bowl eligible. They have a 6-year senior quarterback in Rocky Lombardi that's going to be ready to play today. And I just think you look at Ball State, they are a sluggish team, one of the worst teams to watch offensively in the MAC. They only average 16.7 points per game. Got fortunate to cover last week. I felt good to get that one with Ball State +5.5. But here, I say you take the home team. Northern Illinois is going to show out tonight -9.5.
Yeah, I think Northern Illinois is going to be ticked off too because last week they fell behind really, really badly and almost came back and beat Central Michigan. They're going to use that second half momentum, I think, tonight. I love laying the 10 here. Ball State's offense is awful. It's just awful. Zack Attack, as always, thank you very much. Now, we find ourselves, and by the way, can I thank all of you in the chat? I mean, just everybody. We got you, Snake. Thank you, man. I love this community so much. But you guys are getting greedy because you're all asking. You think that was the only pick for Buckets on the show when he went through that Champions League schedule? Oh, you know us better than that. So, Buckets, my first question is, everybody's wondering, what are you giggling at? You're over there giggling the entire show. I haven't used the word giggle since I was like 8. What are you giggling at?
Coach, I'm giggling at something you said earlier in the show when you were talking to the counselor. You said all of the best know exactly what Maction is, and I felt like I saw you side-eye me for a second because I have no idea what the Maction is, so I was trying to process in my mind what Maction could be throughout the show.
Well, I 100% was giving you the side eye because that's exactly what I was saying, because I knew you didn't know what it is. The MAC is a conference in college football. They have become famous for playing midweek, Tuesdays and Wednesdays in November. We have coined it Maction. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yes.
Right. And we have picks on all 3 of those said games that Zack just did with Northern Illinois. They're in the MAC. Does that make sense?
Yes, Coach.
Okay. Now that we've got that out of the way, as I said, we're in a very peculiar, strange spot. I don't believe, Buckets, you've ever had the Maestro spot. And yet here we are. So what do we do? Now, I'm never, ever going to make my man Buckets pick a certain game. I let him do what he wants. And when he does what he wants, he brings in not just Champions League, but perhaps the English Championship League. Oh, next level hosting right there. So, Buckets, do not make me regret this. Next time Zack will be in this spot just that fast. You're up.
Well, first and foremost, Coach, we got you a snake. Let's get right into this because I've decided to make my picks today as confusing as possible now that I'm in the Maestro spot. Because yes, today we have the Champions League, so everybody is going to be betting on the Champions League. However, as Coach mentioned, I'm going to be starting in the championship, which is different. This is not the best of the best of the best. This is the second tier of English football. And I'm starting with the matchup between Rotherham United and Ipswich Town. Ipswich Town is one of the best teams in England right now. They have the most goals scored in the entire championship. They're second on the table. They've only lost a single time this year. They are incredible. Meanwhile, Rotherham United is 22nd out of 24 teams in the championship. Not quite as impressive. However, Rotherham does that thing that just, it's great from a betting perspective, but it's super annoying. They are a team that when they are on the road, you fade them. You stay as far away from them as possible. You do not touch their games ever. But when they play at home, they score. They have scored in every home game this year, in fact. So what we're going to do here is keep this one easy. Both teams to score at -115. Ipswich will probably win this game 7-1, but BTTS will hit here. Then, don't worry, I got everybody covered. We are going to be looking at the Champions League and that matchup between Crvena Zvezda Belgrade hosting German Bundesliga club RB Leipzig. Now, before you tweet at me or you tweet at Coach, Red Star Belgrade, Crvena Zvezda Belgrade, and Belgrade Beograd are all the same clubs here. Do not let that confuse you. We're taking both teams to score and over 2.5 goals on this one is the same game parlay at -105. Belgrade at home is always good for a goal. It's just what they do. Again, this is a club that when they play at home in Serbia in front of their ultras, this is a team that does not get clean sheeted. However, Leipzig is Leipzig. So again, this match probably sees 3, 4, or 5 goals here, but BTTS at over 2.5 at -105 all day, Coach.
Hassan has a question. I think it's a very valid one. Buckets, why not go BTTS and over 2.5 with Ipswich for plus money?
Ooh, that's a fantastic question. I don't have a good answer, Coach. You probably should just do that at plus money sometimes because BTTS is a bet that is so juiced so frequently. If I can ever get BTTS at its playable odds, let's say it's 1-1 at halftime, I like the fact that I can just turn off the game and go watch Champions League or do something else here. So for me, it's just an easier bet to make, but I do approve of BTTS and over in this one.
Yeah, and also some games have this and some games don't have this bet. When you scroll all the way to the bottom, it's like winning the lottery sometimes when you get it. And then you go to another game and they don't have it. But you use the word confusing. And Zack, I know you weren't on the show yesterday, but somebody in the chat compared Buckets to a Smurf. Right? Like that little, the Smurf that was always peeking his head around and wanted to be a part of the group, but wasn't really a part of the group. And I said, do you know what a Smurf is? And Bucket says, no, I have no idea what a Smurf is. And now I realize why the chat was going crazy yesterday. You literally have a Smurf on the painting behind you. your office, and you said, I have no idea what a Smurf is. How is that possible?
Oh, thank you for the one shot here, AB. I needed that. Yeah, no, I actually Googled Smurf after the game, Coach. I saw it and I turned around and it all kind of clicked at once. So we're all on the same page now.
Oh, we're good. Okay.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
All right. Somebody in the chat said you need your own TV show. Quit encouraging this. Quit encouraging this. Zach is like, where has my career come to? All right. Gentlemen, well done today. Grab your paper. Grab your pencil. Here's the recap, courtesy our man Snake on the ones and the twos, and AB stepping in today like the Hall of Famer that he is. See Nejad, one of our matching games tonight. We're going straight. Central Michigan +3 -104. Then buckets. This is English Championship. Rotherham and Ipswich. Both teams to score -115 starts at noon. Then Red Star Belgrade and RB Leipzig. Both teams will score and over 2.5 -105. Then Zack Attack, the second of the three matching games. Northern Illinois -9.5 -115. They will come out motivated tonight. They want to become bowl eligible in the next couple of weeks. They got to win tonight to do it. Then the third matching game. We're going straight from SportsLine itself. Ohio -7 over Buffalo. And then in the NHL, courtesy of Matty Severance, we're going to go Red Wings, Rangers under 6.5 -118. Finally, I see many of you asking about my brand new sweatshirt, my brand new hat. I know I've been teasing it for months. We're getting very, 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 very close. I promise you. And then we're going to blow you away. We just have to deal with stuff. We're at a big network. It doesn't just roll itself out, but it's ready to go. And we have meetings this week. I promise you, we're going to get this done so everybody can buy their merch, wear it out, send us pictures. We can run contests. I've got a ton of ideas. We just got to get it started. So thank you for your patience. All right. With all that being said, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. My entire crew, love them all. Zack Attack, Counselor, Buckets, Snake, and AB stepping in this morning like our hero. I am simply the coach trying to keep this train on said track. Sometimes it's easier said than done. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's truly what we're all about. We'll see you later today, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Week 10 NFL Mega Preview. Early Edge. Good luck.